it's Kaeyi and welcome to this week's Hardware Heaven hardware review. This time we are going to take a look at the Razer Deathstalker Ultimate Keyboard. I'm really super excited about this review. This is something that I've been wanting to have for myself, let alone review, for quite a while. So let's get straight into the review. Okay, to begin with, let's go into the packaging that you get with the Deathstalker Ultimate. This is the box that you get. It's quite a big box, but then again, it's quite a big keyboard. It has the typical Razer kind of design to it, something you'd expect from a Razer product. On the back of the box, it then goes into all of the details of the keyboard, everything you need to know, all of the key features, and it goes a little bit into Synapse 2.0 and everything that you can do there. So it's a really good quick read if you want to know all of the main features of the keyboard, which is great. Then you obviously get the keyboard itself. You get two Razer stickers, a manual guide to the keyboard, as well as an LCD screen protector, which is really useful. I didn't actually notice this was in the packaging until today, so that is great. You also get some USB covers for the cables, which actually come on the cable, but obviously you need to take them off to plug it into the PC. You then get a Cult of Razer card, and you get a quick start guide to the keyboard and how to set it up. So that is everything that you get in the box, everything you need to set up and use your keyboard as desired. So let's go straight into the key features of this keyboard, and in particular why I really wanted to try this out. So the first thing that you'll notice is on the right hand side we have an LCD touchscreen followed by 10 buttons on top of it. These buttons are programmed macro buttons. The first one turns the LCD screen into a number pad and a touch pad. The second turns the LCD screen into a calculator. The third is your macro button. You can program macros and actually see how long it takes the macros to work, so you can time those. The fourth is a gaming mode, and you can actually go into the gaming mode and turn off some settings so that when you actually press the gaming mode button located here, you can have things such as Alt Tab and Alt F4 turned off so you don't accidentally press them whilst in game. Great feature. You've then got a Razer website button, which will actually take you straight to the site. You'll be able to see all of the news and any updates going on the Razer site, and you can just scroll down much like you would with an iPad or an iPhone or any other touch technology of that kind. You've then got a YouTube button, which is absolutely great. I will show you an example. So as you can see, we've got the home page, the browse page, most viewed, most recent, search, subscriptions, recommend, watch later, favourites and account. If you press account, it will bring up a page for you to log in. You simply log into your account and you can access all of your subscriptions and everything you want to know there, which is absolutely great. You've then got the Facebook button, which again you can just log in and it'll bring up a Facebook page for you. Exactly the same for Twitter. Again, you can just log in, and you named it, exactly the same for email as well. And this actually brings up the Gmail Google sign-in. And then you can finally turn the touchpad into a clock, and you can also use it as a stopwatch. So if you're in a game such as League of Legends and you're wanting to know when Baron is back up, you can press start, you know how long you've got to wait until he's up again, and you can easily see when he's respawned, which is a really great feature. Now if we move over a little bit to the left, you can see the button that I've been pressing throughout that demonstration, and that is the Razer button. That will always take you back to kind of the home screen for the buttons on the right hand side. You've then got gaming mode, which as I explained, if you press when the light is glowing, it means you can't do things such as Alt F4 or Alt Tab or even press the Windows button. You can customize this to however you wish. If you still want to be able to Alt Tab but you don't want to Alt F4, you can customize that. And then you've got your macro button. If you press that alongside any other keys, they will be your macros. You've got your typical keyboard home screen buttons there. If we then move over again to the left, you can see we've got some multimedia keys along the top here. You simply press the function button located here at the bottom, and these will turn these keys into multimedia keys, which is great. And then on the far left hand side, we've got an additional 5 macro keys which you can program to do anything that you like. So that's an additional 5 keys that you've got on your keyboard, as well as the buttons that you've got on the right hand side. So there is some really deep customization that you've got with this keyboard. Let's look into the customization of the Deathstalker. As you can see at the moment, the colour is changing through a rainbow of spectrums, and it's going now from green, it should get a little bit darker and hopefully turn to a blue, and then that blue will then turn into a purple colour, and so on and so on. It will keep cycling through the spectrum. You can, however, select a stable colour that you want it to be. If, for example, you want it to match your Naga, it could be a green, and you can literally just pick any of the colours out of the spectrum. You can see we're going into a red colour now. I really love this because with the Razer Naga as an example, it does only stay as the colour green and you can't customise it, especially with the 2013 edition. Now, I was really expecting that this again would be green, which wouldn't be a problem because it would match. However, I do really love that it's just cycling through all the colours, and I just think it makes a nice touch. They're also not really bright colours, so it's not kind of distracting if the colours are cycling and changing throughout gameplay, which is what some people would worry about. Let's take a look at the wrist rest here. Now, something that you may not be able to see is this is actually a rubberized material. You can see that my finger is making some prints in there already. It's a rubberized material so that the palm of your wrist or your hand actually kind of sticks to it, and it's not slidey, it doesn't move anywhere, which is a really great feature. However, as you can see, it gets dirty very easily, and this is one of the things I must say that I don't like about the keyboard. I like the fact that it's a rubbery finish and it's not slippy. However, the fact that it gets dirty so quick, any dust gets stuck to it, and that's something that is a little bit frustrating. But if you are like me and you've had shiny keyboards or a glossy finish mouse or anything like that in the past, you will get used to it. Simply take something like a baby wipe, give it a wipe on the base, and it is just good as new. So you might want to keep a stash of baby wipes or something like that by your desk so that you can clean it, because if you are a clean freak, it will annoy you, the fact that it is going to get dirty, and it will. One thing I really love about this is the buttons themselves. Now, going from a mechanical keyboard previously to this keyboard, I must say that it was quite difficult for me to adjust from having really strong, forceful button presses to something that is literally so light. But you get used to actually kind of not moving your fingers, and I guess it kind of makes your fingers a little bit lazier because it is so easy to press all of the buttons. It is really quiet as well. I'm going to do a test now so that you can actually hear how quiet it is, and I'm just going to type as if I was typing normally to a conversation to a friend. So here we go. And then if I just mash one of the buttons, and that really, it is so quiet in comparison to something like a mechanical keyboard, which is really loud. You'll be pleasantly surprised at how quiet this keyboard is. The reaction times as well are really fast. I've actually tested some of the macros using the macro option on the right hand side by the LCD screen, and the key presses are extremely fast, and personally I really like this keyboard because of the LCD screen. This really sold it to me. Now, I must say, a lot of the times you think, oh, why is it necessary to have an LCD screen on your keyboard? But if you are mid-game, for example, yes, I have 2 screens, but say I'm playing the game over 2 screens or even 3 with iFinity, you might just want to bring up a web page where you can see something about the game you're playing, or you might want to watch a video on how to do something. You could be mid-puzzle game, you can't can't do this jumping puzzle, or you can't do this certain door that you need to get past, you can simply go to YouTube, search it, watch it on your keyboard, and then you'll be able to solve the puzzle and continue playing the game without having to alt-tab, and then your recording of your game gets messed up and everything like that. So I really, really love it. Now I'm just going to show you a couple of the colours that you can actually have as solid colours on the keyboard. We've actually picked a colour there which is grey, and as you can see there is a slight glow to the keys, but not to the point where it's actually annoying. So if you're someone who possibly doesn't like a backlit keyboard but you would like to be able to see the keys clearly, this could be something that is really, really useful to you. And then you can set it to something like white if you're wanting it a bit brighter. As you can see there, you can tell it is obviously backlit but not to the point where it's distracting. Then we can go to colours such as a bright yellow, a bright red, you'll see it cycling through, and then we'll move to a bright green. As I said, I prefer it to just be spectrum cycling, just because I cannot decide on one solid colour and I like to just leave it running through. One thing I would like to point out is these keys on this side. When you press the mouse button, you can actually customise the keys here. So they're currently numbers ranging from 1 to 0, as you would have on the top of your keyboard, and you can actually change these around. So I personally prefer to have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the top, and then the 6, 7, 8, 9, 0 on the bottom. And I don't really like the fact that these numbers are quite big and it's got a background, so I change it to just simply a smaller number. Another thing that I want to show you quickly before we go into the drivers is the buttons here. From looking downwards onto them, they actually appear as really, really blurry. The way these are designed is so that you can see them clearly, crystal clear, from sitting at your desk. So from sitting down position, looking at your keyboard, they will appear really clear. However, looking down onto them from above will actually show them as blurry. So that's something really, really interesting that Razer have done there, so that you can actually see them clearly from the sitting position, which is obviously the most important position when you're using a keyboard. Okay, so let's take a look at the Synapse 2.0 drivers for the Deathstalker Ultimate. As you can see on the left hand side, you can set the profiles that you want for the keyboard. You can have multiple profiles that you can switch in and out of gaming whenever you please. You can name the profiles as you want, and then you can set a macro so that you can switch them without having to come to the drivers. All of these keys that you can hover over on the keyboards can be customised as you wish. I've currently not set the macro keys purely because I haven't set it up for a specific game yet, but you can set these to do any of the tasks that you want to do inside the game. You can then customise, as I've spoke about, the keys on the right hand side above the LCD screen. You can simply select what of the icons you'd like it to show. There are some preset icons for some various games such as Rift and Firefall. You can then select what the key will actually press, so if you want it to be a 1 or a 2 or even a letter, you can set that. You can have it also launch a program or access a web page. Anything that you want it to do, you can customize that. Now if we go into the lighting, you can set the brightness of the lighting. So if you don't want it as bright as I've got it, that's absolutely fine. And you can set the Switchblade UI lighting as well, which is the LCD touchscreen. You can then select from the colour spectrum, or you can have it cycling like I do. As I mentioned, you can also customise the game mode from the Synapse 2.0 drivers as well. If you don't particularly want to do it on the keyboard itself, you can turn off things such as Alt-Tab. And then you can set it so that your keyboard will go to sleep if you lock your PC, which is a really, really great feature. I personally really like this, so that it's not bright, especially if you're going to sleep but you leave your PC on. You don't want the LCD screen glowing at you whilst you're trying to get some good night's rest, so I really like that feature. You can then go into the macros. You can set your macros from this screen. You can see how long the delay is, how long they take to complete the macros, and basically just go into any of the customization features for the keys on that screen as well. I personally love this keyboard. I am so excited to be able to review it. It's something that I've really wanted since the Razer Star Wars The Old Republic keyboard, which was exactly the same kind of design, but obviously with a Star Wars finish all over it. This keyboard can also be seen in the Razer Blade, and it's the same technology used on the LCD screen as you'll see on the gaming laptop. It's a great keyboard if you're looking for something and you've got quite a bit of money, because it is not cheap. If you are looking for something that you've got that additional fanciness of having that touchscreen, you're really into your macros, you're really into timing when bosses are going to happen, you want to know how fast your key presses are, you're really into that professional gaming scene, then this is definitely the keyboard for you. It's got a quick response, it's got the macro keys on the side, and it's got the ability to have all the features you would ever possibly want from a keyboard on the right hand side. I definitely would recommend this. However, if you're a gamer who's happy just sitting there with any old keyboard, then I would say that this would be completely unnecessary for you to purchase. If it was just something you wanted to have fancy sitting on your desk, you probably wouldn't make the most of the features on the right hand side. Personally, since I've been testing this keyboard, I now really don't access emails at all on the PC unless I've got to reply to someone. Again, Twitter, Facebook and YouTube I've been using constantly on the right hand side on the LCD screen, as well as the number pad, which comes in really useful because there isn't actually a button number pad on the keyboard. It's a great keyboard and probably my favourite thing brought out by Razer in the past few years. I couldn't live without my Razer Naga, but now I feel that personally, if I don't have an LCD screen on all of my keyboards, I just don't know what I'm going to do with myself, especially with these 5 macro buttons as well on the left hand side that you can use for things such as opening your mail, in MMOs, or even just as a sprint key or an extra function or anything that you can remap in games that just become extremely useful. Definitely check it out if you're interested, guys, and thank you so much for watching. See you next time.